Once iImport Desktop has been installed and properly integrated with the registry using the iCommand integration settings, it will appear within the right-click menus in the structures where it has been added in the registry as Enhanced Document Import at the location within the menus where it has been added within the command strings in the registry. To launch iImport Desktop, click on the Enhanced Document Import item. The iImport Desktop interface will load. Note that it has a very similar look and feel to Windows Explorer and will let you browse through specific folders and select more than one folder or combinations of folders and files to be imported as part of a specific import process. The Details pane will show individual detailed information about files as they are selected, as well as individual folders, and these can then be selected for the import process. Before an import can be run with iImport, it needs to be configured first to make sure that it will process the content appropriately. There are several sets of options within the iImport Desktop options. These can be locked down and hidden from users if desired using the administrative settings, which will be covered in another video. The general options include the ability to reproduce the folder structures. If this is not turned on, then all the content in any folders that have been selected for import and all their child structures will be collapsed into the specific destination that has been selected as a target in worksite. If the structures are reproduced, then any security can be applied to those folders either by hard-coding a specific value of private, view, or public, or marking the folders to inherit security from their parent, or by actually copying the specific security ACLs from the parent structure to the new folders as they are created. iImport Desktop has the ability to extract metadata directly from Outlook messages automatically as it runs. Note that it is generally desirable to set a specific class for email messages. Clicking on the lookup button will display the class lookup from your worksite system, and also subclasses, if subclasses have been defined within your system, may be applied to messages as they are automatically processed. The Outlook message metadata extraction includes sender and recipient information, date information, message ID, attachment flags, and other metadata normally stored in the worksite profile for Outlook messages. Note that this functionality requires a valid Outlook profile on the machine where iImport Desktop is being run. There are also options for deleting files after they have been successfully imported, or moving them to the trash container for the specific user rather than deleting them immediately, and also deleting empty folders and their parent folders as they become emptied as part of the import process. Document filters can be applied to restrict the import only to specific types of files, or to only import specific files based on particular extensions that are desired for a particular import process. If no filters have been defined for files to be imported or not imported, then all files will be imported. Note that Worksite has the ability to dynamically determine what the appropriate application code to assign to any individual document as part of the import process. If there are unusual documents or files within the import structures where Worksite cannot automatically resolve the application value automatically, an additional option is presented to allow iImport to skip those files as part of the import process. Note that the application mapping can be customized to support specific types of files that aren't normally identified by the Worksite system automatically. Those settings are covered within the documentation. When folders are created as part of the import process, it is necessary to define at a minimum the name for new folders as they are created. Additional metadata may also be specified for folders, including description, author, class, and other values. To specify which values are to be added to the folders, select the profile values from the list and add them to the list of profile metadata fields that will be applied to the folders. Note that each profile field can be defined in a number of different ways. Class values or any lookup values can be looked up directly from the worksite class lookup fields, as can client and other values as well within client and other lookup tables. Any values that will be left blank, the user can be presented with these options as part of the import process. Specific values can also be defined based on variables. For example, current date, time, new line, which can be inserted into comments on documents. File information can be extracted from individual files as part of file imports. Path information, including the current folder name, which can be used for defining values on new folders. The application code determined by worksite, which can be used for individual file imports. And any specific system environment variable value can be used to also define values within the profiles of folders and documents. Any value that is left blank will be presented to the user as a blank value. Values can also be removed if desired from the list of metadata fields simply by selecting and removing them. Specific values, like in this case the folder name, which will be set using the folder variable, can be set to be reused and hidden from the user so that they are not prompted with that value if they cannot change it or it is not desired that they change it. Other values can be presented, reused if desired, and either presented to the user or locked so that the user can see what the class value will be, but they cannot change the value because it is locked. Any other values where allow edit has been specified, the user can edit on the fly as part of the import process. Similarly, for document metadata, description, class, comment information, application values, and other values can also be specified as part of the import process. Note that it is sometimes convenient to capture original file information for individual documents as part of the import process and store this information in custom date fields within the profile of the document. So for example, the date the file was created can be applied to a specific field such as custom 23, or the date that a file was last modified can be applied to another field such as custom 24. After the import process has completed, these values can be set to overwrite the actual worksite create date and edit date fields if desired. Note that any of these values can also be hidden from the user so that they don't need to see those values as part of the import process. Specific administrative options can control, in addition to the iCommand integration settings with the registry, what are valid targets for the import process, whether databases, workspaces, tabs, workspace or non-workspace legacy folders are acceptable targets for the import process. We can also keep statistics about prior imports to allow for more accurate speed estimates as part of the speed estimating feature of iImport Desktop. We also have a throttle to purposely slow down the import process if desired, if the import is working against a worksite system that has bad performance or underpowered SQL database. In general, the throttle should be left at 0 unless otherwise instructed by Doc Auto Support. Logging can also be used to capture information about all of the imports that are done as a particular import process. We can log to a window and to the Windows application event log, and specific events that should be captured as part of the import process can also be controlled by system administrators. Note that to import documents into worksite, specific metadata values must be specified, including author, operator, class, and name values on the document. Additional metadata values such as client and matter may also become required based on the class value specified on the document, and if any subclass value is specified, any required fields required by the subclass. If a specific author value is not defined within the document metadata values, it will default to the current user who is running the iImport Desktop application. Once iImport has been configured in this way, we're ready to run imports into Worksite.